Welcome back to GMP Scenario, presented by PharmaContentLabs.com, where we break down common GMP mistakes, inspection risks, and the small control gaps that turn into big observations.
All right, let's dive into a story. It's a cautionary tale about computer system validation that honestly should be required listening for anyone working in a regulated industry. It all starts with a project launch that seemed absolutely perfect, at least on the surface. So, picture this. A project team has just rolled out a brand new lab information management system, a LIMS. They flip the switch and it works beautifully. From the outside looking in, this is a huge success. And it gets even better. Not only is the system up and running, but the team did everything right with the training. The users are all up to speed, they know the new software, they're comfortable, everything is humming along.
And the last piece of the puzzle just clicks into place. The new system is doing its job. It's taking in data, processing it, and spitting it out just like it's supposed to. The project looks like a total home run. The team is probably ready to celebrate, right? But then,
someone from the quality assurance department walks into the room, and with just 6 little words, the entire vibe just changes. This is that stomach drop moment where everyone realizes the definition of success is about to be seriously challenged. So how did this one simple question completely turn a successful launch into an absolute failure? Let's unpack what happened next.
the IT team, they think they're being helpful. They hand over what they've got, a bunch of screenshots that show the system working, and the PowerPoint deck they used for user training. And right there, that response, it tells you everything. It shows they fundamentally misunderstood what was being asked.
You see, what QA was actually looking for was the proof, the hard evidence. But there was no user requirement specification to define what the system was even supposed to do in the first place. No risk assessment, no formal test evidence, and, this is the big one, no traceability to connect any of it. The entire foundation was just missing. So you might be sitting there thinking, okay, so they're missing some paperwork. Is it really that big of a deal? Well, in a regulated space like GMP, the answer is 1,000% yes. Let me explain why. So here's the official definition of system validation. The words that really matter here are demonstrating, consistently, and controlled. It's not about showing that it worked one time during a demo. It's about having objective, documented evidence that it will work reliably, the right way, every single time. And this really gets to the core of it. Without that formal validation, you have zero objective proof that the data coming out of your system is accurate or reliable. And for any process that even touches product quality or patient safety, well, that's just a complete non-starter. This is such a critical point. So many teams see validation as this annoying, box-ticking exercise. But this quote, it reframes it perfectly. It's not about the paper, it's about the proof that's on the paper. It is the very bedrock of your data integrity.
Think about it like this. An inspector or an auditor can't just take your word for it. The phrase, "we tested it," means absolutely nothing to them without the proof to back it up. They need to see the documented evidence that shows exactly what you tested, why you tested it that way, and how it all traces back to your original requirements and risk assessment.
Okay, so how do we avoid this kind of disaster? Well, the modern approach is a much smarter, risk-based methodology called Computer Software Assurance, or CSA. Let's take a look at how this changes the game. The CSA framework is actually beautiful in its simplicity. First, you clearly define what the system is for, what's its intended use. Second, and this is key, you apply critical, risk-based thinking to focus your energy where it matters most. And third, you have a solid plan to keep that system in a validated state as things inevitably change over time.
This is really the heart of CSA. You don't test every single thing with the same level of intensity. For a low-risk feature, maybe a cosmetic element on the user interface, basic testing is totally fine. But for a high-risk workflow, say the one that calculates your final batch release data, you better believe you're going to perform deep, rigorous testing that's laser-focused on patient safety and data integrity. It's all about working smarter, not just harder.
Okay, so we keep using this phrase, documented proof. What does that actually look like? What are we talking about here?
This is the validation package that our friend from QA was looking for. It has to have the user requirements, the risk assessment, a traceability matrix that ties everything together, the actual test evidence, records for any deviations. You see the list. Together, these things tell the complete, auditable story of your system. It is your proof.
If you take only one thing away today, please let it be this. The failure we talked about at the beginning, it happened because the team thought this was an IT task. They were only asking, does it work? But the real question, the quality question, is, can you prove it works reliably according to risk and our specific requirements? It's a quality mindset, not just a technical one.
And that brings us right back around to the ultimate test of your whole process. That moment when an inspector walks in the door.
And this is what they'll do. An inspector will pick a single critical GMP record from anywhere in your facility. A batch record, a stability report, anything. They'll point to that data and they will ask you this question. They're not just auditing the data on the page, they are auditing the trustworthiness of the entire system that created it.
So I'll just leave you with that question to noodle on. If an inspector walked into your facility right now, picked a random record, and asked you to prove the system behind it was validated, could you do it?
If this helped, like and subscribe.